you got this role where you're a leadership role and a lot of people underneath you, and at times, a lot of the times it feels like you're looking after people who don't really have the same care for the job. Some people are just there to get paid. They don't, they just didn't have what they needed. And you're putting a lot of energy and effort into these guys. When it just got to the stage where I thought I could be doing this for myself and like reaping a lot more of the benefits.
Hey, welcome to the Tradies Success Podcast. On this podcast, you're going to hear real life stories from trade business owners to minimize the mistakes you're going to make, maximize profit, create more time freedom, and minimize emotional overwhelm. So hit subscribe and follow us now and enjoy the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Tradies Success Podcast. Here today with Josh Barrack from Barrack Electrical. Very excited to jump into the show with you, Josh. I know that you've got an incredible story where you sort of started, at 15 in the trade, and then you worked for the same company for so long, and then eventually built the courage to start your own business. And I could imagine when you get stuck into that comfort of the role that you've always been in, how hard it must be to do that. So today we're going to talk with Josh about that and walk through his journey to starting his own business and everything that he's achieved over the last year, which has been phenomenal. Love seeing your stuff on social media, man. So can't wait to jump into it. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Let's go back. I want to go back to when you started your trade. So did you finish high school? Did you drop out early just to get into the trade space? What was your situation?
Year 10. Year 10 was the limit for me, mate. I think just knowing that I wanted to be in the trade space just clarified that I don't need to spend an extra 2 years at school where I'm going to end up in the same spot, if not 2 years behind where I could potentially be, which was a big one. Because I had mates that thought, we're going to do year 11 and 12. And probably 80% of them actually got halfway through year 11 and went, what the hell am I doing? This isn't for me. All ended up getting trades anyway. And I was sort of sitting good that I was, a year into my apprenticeship and everyone else was following on doing the same thing in different trades.
Yeah. I remember being a first year and all my mates that left in year 10 were at fourth year wage. And I was fucking spewing. I was like, damn, I can't wait to be fourth year and earn $13 an hour.
It was definitely like that too, because I actually got a job with a very good electrical company. So my wages were always a little bit higher than what all my mates were getting in the industry as well. But I had that, plus I was a year in front. And obviously when you start, you start getting a little bit of money, you're buying things and that you probably don't need, but you just had that influx of cash that you were not used to, especially being the first job I'd ever had too.
Yeah, 100%. And so what got you into electrical? Why did you choose electrical for your trade?
Well, I actually wanted to be a builder, but my older brother took that path and I figured, well, not going to go down that same path and copy him. And then later years of school, I think year 10 was when we started to do some hands-on classes. And I took up electronics and metalworking and took a liking to the electronics side of things. Obviously a little bit different and not full electrical, but it had the same concept. And then out of year 10, actually had the opportunity to sign up to a pre-apprenticeship course. So I sacrificed some of my summer holidays from year 10 to do a 2-week block at TAFE to get that foot in the door as, looking like a good candidate with a little bit of experience to find an apprenticeship.
Yeah, that's great. And so, you got in early and then you would have finished really early as well. So what did the next couple of years out of your trade look like? You said before the show, you were working your way through the ranks. What were the ranks at the company you were at? What opportunities did you have, and what brought you to that decision that, I'm going to go and do it myself?
Yeah, well, it was straight out of that pre-apprenticeship was secured an actual apprenticeship with a big commercial electrical company. Green as hell, not knowing a single thing. First year through to tradesman, think maybe 1 or 2 years as a full tradesman, took into being a leading hand, maybe another year or 12, maybe a year as that, and managed to get a gig as a foreman, and, really good company, really good relationship with everyone there, working on major projects, shopping centers, hospitals, a lot of works on military bases, really, really big works. But I guess just it got to a point as well where, you got this role where you're a leadership role and a lot of people underneath you. And at times, a lot of the times it feels like you're looking after people who don't really have the same care for the job. Some people are just there to get paid. They don't, they just didn't have what they needed. And you're putting a lot of energy and effort into these guys, when it just got to the stage where I thought I could be doing this for myself and like reaping a lot more of the benefits.
When you had that thought of, I'm going to start my own business because I think, I can do this. This is going to be all right. In that first year of business, do you think it was way bigger than it was initially in your mind in terms of like all the responsibility and the load that you were under?
Yeah, it definitely is, because you're just not prepared for it as well. You just think work falls in your lap. You don't. Thankfully, in the previous job, like, I knew how to do takeoffs, estimating and quoting, and a little bit of the behind the scenes business side with organizing guys and that in that area, where I was probably beneficial because a lot of other people don't have that experience as well. They just jump straight off the tools and into a business. I had a lot of help from a mate who actually worked for the same company, and for the first 6 to 12 months, and we still do work together, he helped me out a lot. So I wasn't jumping straight into the unknown. I did have some help, which was really beneficial.
What do you think was the key thing that you're stoked you had experience in before starting your business? What's the skill that you're stoked you learned?
I think maybe just like people skills and organizational skills of how to deal with a team, how to talk to builders and plan works and organize materials, structure a job, how to start a job, how to finish a job.
So if we were to speak about that just for a second, what do you think are the key elements? If you were teaching someone who's doing that for the first time, they might be moving into a project management role or a foreman or starting their own business, what do you think the key things are in that skill set of, working with people and managing a profitable project effectively?
I think just taking everything on board and diving right into it and making sure you're getting your hands on all areas of it from start to finish, being involved in it.
What's the biggest mistakes you made around project management? You're like, you didn't know until you did it.
It's, I guess, like when you're organizing guys that essentially aren't yourself too, you set yourself at such a high standard of, this is how long it takes for me to do something. I know I could do it this way. And that leans into you having your own business too, of like, not your whole team's not just clones of you, and how to work with different people and different skill sets and where to put different people to where they're more effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a major thing. Like, it took me so long to figure that out because I wasn't in a management role before I started my business. So I was that guy who just went pretty much straight from my apprenticeship into starting a business. And man, the amount of lessons I learned around, everyone's different. Everyone's got different skill sets, and they might not be good at one thing, but exceptional in something else. And learning how to, when you do have a team, to be able to put the right people in the right places so cohesively everyone performs well together as a group.
Yeah, that's huge. And that sort of spilled down from working with project managers with a lot of experience. And we would have meetings in the mornings and a big whiteboard with every tradesman's name on it and what they were doing for the day, trying to schedule works ahead for 2 weeks. So really trying to dial in where the project will be and scheduling that project as to how long each individual task takes.
That's really good. And then if it was going over, did you have a work in progress report, or is it all manual off the whiteboard? You sort of identified it's taking longer than it should have. how did you identify when things were taking longer and when there might need to be a variation or something like that?
Yeah, over the big projects, I guess, was obviously the estimators and whatnot do their thing and give you hours for the job. And then every individual aspect of that job was broken down into cost centers and how much labor and hours and materials were allowed for each part of the project. So the whiteboard was like the vision of what's happening out in the field, but behind the scenes, guys do their timesheets of an afternoon and it tracks back hours across different cost centers to work out, are we in the red? Are we in the green? Are we good? If we are taking too long, why is it taking too long? Have we not allowed for this? There's always a reason for it.
Mm. And when you do have that awareness that, yeah, we're in the red, there's something not going right, how did you go? Like, what are some examples of things that would be coming up? Like, what would be the reasons on a project that it would go into the red?
I guess there's so many factors, right? How long should it take on paper? I remember having a project manager, we were breaking down a Bunnings that we were doing, and we were having to install uni struts to hang high bays, and he got me to break down from ordering the materials, measuring it, cutting it, filing it, spraying it with some gal spray, taking it out to your machine, installing it, and you're tracking 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes to bring you to like a total estimate for that job to be an hour. And I guess on big sites things tend to take a bit longer. You got 10 guys doing jobs, you've got lunch breaks, you've got toilet breaks, all these things.
Yeah, so good. But what a cool skill set to learn, like to be able to, I think that methodical thinking through a task at that granular level is what makes great pricing, right? Like, and for you to be able to sit there in the office and be able to visualize step by step by step by step is effectively what we teach in Shopping List Pricing System, is to be able to build your system that, and especially if you use the average worker, like, time, and I always double their time because I'm a bit hyperactive and I don't go double as fast as everyone else. But if I double it, then most people can come in under it, and then somewhere in between is still profitable.
I guess that's where it helps too with your quoting, right? If I'm allowing this, no matter what scenario or different property or different job site you're on, that you can cover it with some generic pricing from your Shopping List Pricing System.
Yeah, 100%. Cool, man. Well, that's that. And you're into projects, and then you're like, hey, do you know what? I'm going to start my own business. So how did that look? Like, what was the initial moment where you're like, nah, that's it. I'm doing it. What, can you remember?
Oh, yeah. I think I just got to the point where, like, my partner fell pregnant with our first child. And there was guys that I knew that were doing it. And for ages, I'd just been in this space of being comfortable, seeing where my progression was going to be, working up through the ranks and just slowly going to be like this project manager or someone who sits in the office every day, and just realizing that I didn't want to be there. I wanted to do something for myself, because for years before that, I think I was just living too comfortable. Like, I stopped playing sports, worrying about getting injured for work as a lot of people do. There was essentially no risk in my life. And I think with a child coming along, of being that person who wants to say, hey, if you want to do something, go and do it, but not wanting to be the person who is telling my kids that, but never did anything risky for myself.
Kids have a weird way to make you act fast. So pretty common, people starting businesses, starting a renovation that they won't be able to finish in time, building a house. Yeah. So I think it's all part of preparing for that, that future, that life that you're going to live. And it's a great opportunity for us to start fresh and work on something new. So you went about starting, you got your ABN. Like, what does that look like when you started your business? Yeah,
well, it's a whole lot of the unknown, right? And that's where I was lucky enough to have others to lean on to point you in the right directions of what do I need to get started. And it actually took a bit longer to get started than I wanted because we were having a house built at the time. We were meant to be in the new place before we had our first child, but the build took so long. We ended up having our daughter. So my partner wasn't working. So the financials were relying on my payslip history. So I couldn't pull the trigger as quick as I wanted, but that's just how it played out for me.
Yeah. We were the same. When we came home from the hospital, we had half a roof because it was like we chopped the roof off to extend the house out, but it was quite
just camping with a tarp on your roof.
Pretty much, there was a tarp hanging off the side where I chopped it off. All right, man. So yeah, started your business. So let's fast forward now to what you thought business would be like compared to what you've learnt. So it's been how many years have you been in business now? Nearly 2? Yeah,
February last year was when I invoiced my first job, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God. So how cool. So you've grown a lot. You've come into the academy. I've seen you like expand and do what you've done. So what's some of the things that your initial impressions of what you thought running a business would be like compared to what you've learnt is, some of the key things?
I think I just thought it was probably a little bit cruisier. You just go and do a job, you invoice it, people ring you when they want work, and you've just got this consistent influx of work. And I think, probably the first 6 months of it, you do seem to you seem to be servicing a lot of your family and your close friends via word of mouth who are helping you start your business. But, eventually you got to grow from that, and you've got to find these repeat customers who come to you, and you're not just waiting for the phone to ring.
With that lesson, because obviously it would have come to a time where you've exhausted your friends and family and you're like, oh, what do I do now? I've got everyone sues me that I can ask. So how did you get your first few clients outside of your friendship and family group?
Yeah, well, the first couple were still sort of inside it because I managed to get in with a few real estates doing some property maintenance via people that I know in the area. Yep. Same thing with other builders. I think first job with a builder came through from, just getting out there on social media, and a builder had an electrician who couldn't make it, and they messaged you, you jumped in on that, and, things just sort of start falling into line in that sense. And then obviously not long after was, I think it was only August that I ended up having the bigger picture of, I want this to be more. But needed help with it, was a little bit gun shy. People tell you not to hire because they're scared for you that you're not going to have the work for them. It was, I think everyone wants you to be really safe, but I sort of have this vision and wanting more guys and picturing Barrack Electrical to be this place where we've got an office in an industrial estate somewhere. We've got admin, we've got a team of vans, knowing where I want it to be, but not necessarily knowing how to get there.
What happened next?
Well, the academy sort of popped up. I was following a few business places on social media and just getting hits of these videos of like, don't make mistakes, like essentially seeing that there is a blueprint. If you want access to not take the trial and error route, essentially taking a lot of risk out of it to get you to where you need to be. And that lit a light bulb for me as to why would I try the hard way and potentially fail when I could invest in something that invests back into my business.
Can you remember what like obviously there's a bunch of trade coaches out there now, but what was the reason you decided that the academy was right for you?
Oh, it was a lot of social media stuff. I think it was, just finding someone that was local, has the same knowledge, has the same problems. There's others that you see pop up overseas, but wasn't really relatable. And just I think it was an inquiry. It was a chilled phone call, follow up, talking to my partner and thinking, I want to do this, so let's do it.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's been awesome watching you grow in the academy as well. So tell me around some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in your business so far.
I guess with every hire comes a new challenge of finding that right person. And yeah, just because it is scary. And, when you got your name on your shirt and you've got this brand, that you've got this vision and this brand that you want to uphold, you can't afford to have the wrong people, because everyone out there is essentially another version of me that's, trying to, with the same goal as me, is what I'd hope.
And what have you learnt about hiring so far?
Oh, look, I've been lucky. I hear a lot of stuff in the academy and people that are really struggling and to find that right person and that right fit. And my first hire was actually probably goes against everything that you'd probably teach, is to not hire a mate or someone close to you. But I did that because I needed someone I could trust. I feel like I just I couldn't take that leap with someone I didn't know or hadn't previously vetted. So my first hire was a mate of mine, Sam, who I've known for ages, but also worked with at our previous company. So there was a little bit of comfort in that.
Yeah, you've already know what they're like to work with as well, being a work colleague, which is, are they a mate from work?
No, I've known Sam forever, like school, footy, so for a long time.
Yeah, how cool. Yeah, it's good that you got to work with each other, and I think that's really cool. So, and then, from that hire and your second tradie, so that gave you the confidence to put on someone you didn't know through a proper interviewing process and stuff like that?
Well, the second tradie was also someone I knew as well, but not as close. It was funny how it worked out. I knew he was a gun and he was in the electrical space, and the perfect sort of fit for, or what they were doing is the perfect fit for what I needed for the business as another hire. And I actually reached out to him just to ask him if he knew somebody, so that I was taking the risk out again. And he was actually in a spot where was a little bit unhappy, and probably same thing, I guess, had been at a company for a while and wanted a bit of change, seeing what we were doing, and was happy to jump on board. So I got super lucky again with another good hire. So I haven't jumped into those waters yet where I'm putting ads out and filtering through resumes but that's going to be next. Yeah,
totally. Was that what you just said is one of my favorite strategies? It's headhunting in a non-direct way, and if, there's a couple of things that can happen by not going straight in for the, trying to get that person to come join you. They don't put up a wall, for one. So you're just reaching out to have a conversation, check in, and just say, hey, do you know of anyone? If they are looking, they'll say, hey, I'm actually looking, and they'll consider it.
It's the perfect little seed to be planted, I think. Like at the time, it wasn't even meant to be tactical like that, but it just organically went like that.
Yes, it's an effective way to do it. There's plenty of people we've met over our trade experience and on site, and different people we could call, because that's who we need to leverage off of, right? Their networks and people who they know are good, because plenty of applications can come through with people that fucking lie, and then they can show up and do a great interview. But especially if you don't know how to ask the right questions to dig deep and get into the things that they're faking. But that way through referral is an excellent way to not only get potential people working for you, but clients as well. Calling your existing clients that might have gone quiet and just say, hey, we just, without asking for work directly with them, we just put on a new staff member. We've got heaps of capacity. Do you know any other people that might be looking to use an electrician or a tradie? And boom, you can get some work that way from the person you called and other people. So some cool things. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, network is powerful. Got to leverage that. Awesome, man. So yeah, taking the plunge, overcome those fears of putting someone on. What has been the impact? I think a lot of our members who are listening to this would want to know, like, what's the actual impact you got from having those people join your team? Like, what was life like right before you hired that tradie, and what was the impact for you on your time and maybe the ability to earn as well?
I guess it adds hours to your day that you can generate income without yourself. So you've got that other field staff that's generating revenue, so that, because I was doing jobs, trying to invoice them. I would essentially have the laptop in the back of the car. I'd pull the drawer out. I was doing the job. I'd invoice the job, go to the next job. Now it just frees up time of like, just put them out for the day. At first it was two of us working together, because you do struggle to do in the electrical space things on your own. I feel like two guys is not twice as fast. It's almost 3 times as fast. Just having that extra capacity of actually being able to go and do other things that I needed to do, but still be working. Yeah.
Well, it's still generating billable hours and revenue. Passive. It's the passive revenue that's coming in from the team. Awesome. And how quickly did you see a payback for that staff? Like, did you have a worry that you wouldn't have enough money or work, or the typical fears that people have before hiring that tradesperson?
Oh yeah, I was petrified, because we'd actually planned the hire. It was sort of weeks in advance, because I knew the date he was coming. I think it was even a month or even earlier before, because we'd scheduled it, but he had some holidays and some things coming up. So we booked a date in. So I was still full-time on the tools, and I needed to be making money, but all the work that I was doing was drying up all the work for when he was going to get there, because I wasn't trying to find more work. It was such a weird spot.
And then he started, and what happened?
Well, then the day that he started, I was like, oh, we could have a quiet week here. And I think the first week was maybe a little bit slow, but it was the same thing. We just found our feet and did a bit more outreach. And since he's been on, he hasn't had a down period yet. I've filled that whole capacity, and then it was essentially rinse and repeat with the second hire. It went a little bit quiet because it was me and the tradesman, and then it's been the same thing again. Like I've had 2 guys now since June, and we've been busier than ever.
I think you'll find now, like, if there's anything like everyone else, like, you get to a point here, you're at the top of the growth phase, right? Where you're just like, you're so busy just trying to generate work and do all the admin, take all the calls and project manage, that you've got no more time to go and get more work for that next tradie. And if you do, it just becomes super overwhelming. So that next hire, I know in the brief, like, your partner's been helping you out, but she's pregnant, and, there's just life in the way again, especially in that operational space that has to happen Monday to Friday. And so, I think that next release for you is getting the admin on and unlocking that next level.
Yeah, well, I don't even think I've mentioned yet, but I actually hired again last week. So my tradesman was doing some side works with a friend of his who had 3 years experience on the tools, but only got halfway through his second year at TAFE and had a bit of a bad experience with the last employee, so canned it. So I've just put him on as a TA, as a trial, and he's just done his first week and he's going well. So we're going to get the TAFE ball rolling and see where he ends up to jump back into TAFE. So now I've got 3 employees, and one of them's TA/apprentice that can jump between the two. So I'm covering a lot more area again.
Very cool. Yeah, it stops you. It further protects you from you going on the tools, which is great. So awesome, man. I want to also talk to you about your social media, because I see you having a lot of fun on there. You know me, I love having fun as well. And so what's your strategy, or what are you trying to show for your clients, and what have you found that works on social media? Because I think this is a massive unknown for so many people of what to do it when you're on there. And I love seeing your posts. So love to hear what you've learned around social media for yourself.
Yeah, social media is a big one for me because at first you do your research and you see the bigger, more luxurious style of company who have this cookie cutter Instagram page of this is what we did. Here's a house we did. It looks really cool. But I'll scroll through it and I'm like, who the hell are you? Like, I don't know any of your employees. Yeah, you do a great job. Like, love that. But I felt like it more resonated with me to show a bit of face and a bit of humor. And I think maybe I'm trying to be more of a comedian than an electrician, but I feel like the stuff that I'm putting out with the comedic value to it, but also a little hidden message on what we do resonates more with the viewer.
100%. I'm the same. And what it is you being authentic to yourself, right? It feels so much better than putting this fake, persona up that's not really you. Like I reckon if people just genuinely be themselves and be authentic and do what you would be like around your mates, then you're going to attract really great clients and really great staff, because they're the people that think that's great. They're like, this is awesome. And all the people are like, that's fucking dumb. Like, it's like, why would you want them as a client or a staff member? It's just like, it's the perfect thing. It's just like, be authentically you, and you'll make sure you repel the people that are arseholes and you attract the people that are awesome. That's just how it is.
And you get heaps better feedback from it too, I feel like. Everyone's put the photo up of, here's a fucking PowerPoint that we did. And no one cares because, as you know, you could call 10 electricians and at least 9 of them will do the same job, put a fan up, they can all make it spin. That's all. That's what we do. But yeah, I just wanted to put more behind it. And like my personal Instagram, I don't think I've posted in a couple of years, but I don't know. There's something about the business thing where I get excited to make a funny video. I didn't think I would ever be that person. You're growing up through high school, you do silly videos like that. People think you're an idiot or a dickhead, or they think it's cringy or embarrassing. But I don't know. I've just flicked this switch where I even went out and bought the microphones and getting my partner to film me and just trying to make that comedic sort of content, but obviously still relevant. We're doing security cameras, but we just make it a little bit funny, or we did a gym renovation and it wasn't just the work we were doing, but we were taking the piss, lifting weights and whatever. And I think that's that people respect that a little bit more, of seeing your face, seeing that you're real people, you're relatable.
100%. Yeah, you're attracting people because you're being real, and it's what a lot of people fear, because it does put you out there to be criticized or whatever. But at the end of the day, people that criticize you aren't who you want in your life anyway. My rule is to delete and block. That's to quickly delete and block and don't think about it anymore.
I also love the keyboard warriors who are like other electricians and get on there and are like trying to pinpoint something that you might have done wrong, or like not necessarily wrong, but not how they would have done it. It's just like, mate, just jog on.
Oh man. What's been your favorite video? Like, what's the one, if someone could go to your account, Barrack Electrical, and look for something, what would be the one to go check out?
I think the first good one that we did was the gym renovation, which got a bit of traction. And just as to, we jumped in, we're doing a big renovation. It was our biggest project to date. And we've actually been nominated finalists in the NICA Small Business Awards. So we got that next Friday for that project. And, we were just taking the piss with it. Let's just make something that's funny. And yeah, it just gets so much more attraction than putting up a photo of something that you did.
100%, man. Now you've got the formula, and now you just like critique it every time. So good on you. Congratulations. I'm proud of what you're doing, and love seeing your videos when they pop up. So keep that up.
Look out for a collaboration, mate. Greg from TSA and Barrack Electrical. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm always open to a collaboration, man. So yeah, that would be cool. And any last words that you want to share to maybe the members that to inspire them, motivate them, or just a shout out? Let us know.
Yeah, I think a big one for me is, especially with the academy, and I had periods there where we all get busy, and I think I was running away from it in times of being busy rather than leaning into it. So I've found now that really just dedicating those time blocks to get to your session, do the implementation, not trying to catch up. Like there'd be weeks there where I'm like, shit, I haven't done anything for 4 weeks, and you need to, because it just really sets that structure for you.
It's so important, and it's so easy for us to get busy, right, and focus in on like the work that's in front of us. But it's that awareness, coming to the sessions is where you get the awareness of like, shit, that's why I'm so busy, or that's the move I need to do next. Because by doing that, that's going to help me create the time and get my time back and get my life back and get, refocused and realigned.
There's so many areas of business, and like you can seem to be, obviously at times, some things are more important than others. And I remember, I think someone in the chat on Monday they just jumped into the TSA, and he was already off the tools, and he was concerned that he didn't have time for the academy because he needed to be finding more work for his staff. But it goes hand in hand. Like what you're going to learn is going to help you to implement the things you need.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so good hearing it from you, because you do go through those cycles, and, always lean back into us because we're here. All the coaches are here. All the coursework is here. And all the members are here for each other as well. So inspiring, just looking at the feed every day and what people are doing. And that in itself creates awareness. Even for me, I'll be looking or reading something and be like, that's right. I'm getting busy over here and I've got to do that. So like we all support each other because we're all business people, right? And we all have these external pressures coming from every angle. And it's like we're here to support each other in being aligned and focused on the things that matter most.
That's right. And it's a group of people who are all in the same position. So they've all got the same problems, going through the same aspects and growth in their business. So it's just shoulders to lean on.
Good on you, man. Oh, can't wait to catch up next year, see what you've done in the next year, because where you're at right now and this stepping stone with this next hire in the admin is where you can really go. And I think you're the sort of personality that will. So I'm pumped to see what you do.
Watch this space.
Yes. All right, bro. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, mate. Good chat.
Yeah, good chat. See you later. Thanks, everyone.
See you, mate.
Hey, guys, it's Greg here. Thanks for listening to the podcast. For me, growing my trade business was extremely hard. It cost me millions of dollars, so much time trying to figure out what was the right way to do business, and emotionally feeling like I'm letting myself, my partner, and my family down by not knowing how to run my business properly. But I kept working hard and overcame those challenges and created systems and solutions that minimized those mistakes for myself and my team as we grew. Now, Response Electricians, go and Google it. We've got over 1,700 reviews on Google. We've won awards like Electrician of the Year and Service Business of the Year, both state and nationally. I sat on the National Board of Directors for Master Electricians Australia for 2 years, created a real solid awareness of the industry and the construction industry and the challenges you face. And the business runs autonomously over in Perth while I live my life working on the academy in Byron Bay. And I help people like you create freedom from your business as well. Now, having coached and trained thousands of trade business owners, we've developed the Freedom Fighters program. It's a guided pathway in a hybrid training and coaching system that provides you with the right information and steps to take to create freedom, not in years, but now. You can actually create more freedom from your business sooner than you think. So click the link and have a free strategy session with one of our academy experts to fully understand how you can create more time freedom from your trade business generating more profit, better culture, and more growth in less time.